Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Farmers and ranchers are always looking for ways to improve. We've got an up-close look at some products and services that will make you more efficient and have a positive return on investment to your operation.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kate Maher. Thanks for spending some time with us. A lot of folks are still talking about the recent cattle industry convention in Nashville. For some, the best part was the trade show with its 7 acres of exhibitors. We asked attendees their thoughts on the trade show and why it's a highlight of the event.
The value of the NCBA trade show at Cattle Convention to my family is the ability to see cattle-specific products all brought together in one place, whether it's huge equipment like front-end loaders and balers and tractors, to the very small equipment like what is even the needles and syringes needed to give the safe, best way to administer medication to animals, even flooring for cattle slipping in the floors, feed additives. So it's amazing to see all these suppliers for the whole industry gathered together in one place.
Oh, the trade show is invaluable. The trade show allows us to see the latest, greatest, the things that we need, that we use in our industry to get updated with proper herd health, proper herd management, the newest equipment that's out there that we could potentially be using on our operation. And two, a lot of the trade show people that we work with are friends of the industry and have livestock themselves, so it makes it easy to communicate with them as opposed to working with somebody over the phone.
The value of the NCBA trade show for us is just being able to see all the new and different up-and-coming technology and ideas and vendors, and just there's so much information out there and it's all in one place.
The value of the trade show is really to go down and look at all the new products and features that are available, but it's also to find what competitive opportunities are between people. And it's just an opportunity to have some camaraderie going on in the industry as well.
What I like about the NCBA trade show is getting to see the products that are new and improved and out there, for whether it be for animal health or weed control, or all of that is just under one roof, and it makes it easy to do my research.
The trade show offers a chance to see a lot of the most recent technology. One of the other things it's great for is because there's such a gathering of people there. You get to see a lot of people you haven't seen for a long time, catch up on some old friendships, make a lot of new ones, and see a lot of new cool toys to play with too.
The NCBA trade show had something for everyone in the beef industry, and all under one roof. We stopped by several of the exhibitors' displays to find out more about the latest technology and equipment available to beef producers. Let's take a look.
Bovine respiratory disease is the most costly disease facing the U.S. beef industry. And with me today is Dr. Bruce Hoffman, here to talk about a new product that will aid in the fight against BRD. Dr. Hoffman, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate being here.
Now, you all at Landco have a new product called Increxa. Tell us a little bit more about that product.
Increxa is an antibiotic under the macrolide class. The actual name is tulathromycin, which cattlemen have relied on for now 15 years, but now they have a branded alternative with Elanco called Increxa. And so we've come to appreciate that antibiotic as a successful treatment for the main bacterial pathogens of bovine respiratory disease.
So as you think about the times that we face risk and issues with BRD, when specifically is a product like Increxa the right product to use?
So first of all, we know with Increxa we're getting the right amount of drug to the lungs quickly and for the right duration. So, as we think about going into fall, I'm from Billings, Montana. We're experiencing drought in Montana. We're having early wean calves. I think we need to be prepared that we're going to have some calves get sick. And so having a plan that allows us to have Increxa there and to be used if cattle get sick. And that can be in a couple different forms. We may be buying source type calves where we're pretty comfortable that they have a good vaccination program. We get them started on feed good and we just pull and treat. So that's one area, right? That we're going to identify sick animals that are depressed, looking like they have bovine respiratory disease, right? And then first treatment on that, Increxa is a great option. And so that's one area. The other area is sometimes, we buy calves that are put together, high risk type cattle, right? In those deals, we may elect, through the use of your veterinarian, to work with Increxa in a metaphylaxis, meaning that we're going to give the whole group of calves the antibiotic to basically cut down the morbidity by 50% and death loss by 50% in those cases.
Very good, and this is just one of a larger portfolio that Elanco has to fight BRD. Tell us a little bit about your broader portfolio.
You know, it's great. I mean, I've been using Mycotil for my whole career, and Mycotil is the same class of Increxa, okay? It's a macrolide, so we add to that class, but we also have Baytril that we acquired, and Baytril is a nice short-acting, fast in, fast out, that actually kills bacteria very quickly, and so we have that in our portfolio. We also have Loncore within our portfolio, and so we have a nice selection of antibiotics that, with the right operation, when you're managing cattle and bovine respiratory disease appropriately, you can pick the right drug for the right time.
And that's critically important, to have a toolbox full of those products and selecting the right product in the right amount at the right time.
Yeah, you got it, Kevin. And I think that's the thing. And I like to remind people that just because, you know, along with the product, you know, we have to have the right management, right? So we are always teaching people how to pull those cattle early, because we want to get those cattle pulled in a timely fashion for the products to work extremely well and get that calf healthy, and so that calf can perform and move on and create great beef, right? So.
Absolutely, that's what we're about. Thank you so much for spending time with us today and telling us about this exciting new product.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate being here.
And if you'd like more information, please go to the website increxa.com or elanco.us.
Up next on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, you'll learn about some more cutting-edge products that are making a big difference in the beef industry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for outstanding forage-developed Angus cattle, look no further than Yon Family Farms in Ridge Springs, South Carolina. The Yon family is hosting their 18th annual fall sale on October 30th at 11 a.m. on their farm. They're offering 250 bulls and 100 females. Proven genetics from a family committed to their customers. Find out more at YonFamilyFarms.com.
Hi everybody, I'm Tom Elliott with John Deere.
Cattle producers across the country work hard to care for their animals and their land. The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is there to help. Find out how you can work with NRCS to develop a conservation plan for your operation. Find possible funding resources for implementing conservation practices, or get free expert advice on ways to improve your farm or ranch. Visit the website nrcs.usda.gov today.
Beef producers are constantly looking for new ways to capture more margin, driven by this growing demand for beef. And I'm standing now with someone who has a business model to do just that, Jojo Corrales of Heart Brand Beef. Jojo, thanks for giving us some time today.
Yeah, Kevin, good to be here.
What do you see as some of the key issues and trends that are going to be shaping the beef industry over the next 10 years?
So I agree the demand is very good in the beef industry, and I think when we look at our beef end user, the customer, of what they're wanting, so they're wanting a consistent, high-quality product, and they're wanting more transparency of the brands that they're buying. So I think you can see that the trends and the growing trends of being in the grocery store, and more of the products have more of a story to them. So they want to know how they were raised, they want to know what they were fed, and in our case, they want to know what kind of animal it's coming from. So we DNA verify these cattle to ensure the breed that we're selling, and obviously the quality that goes into it as well.
And I know one of the frustrations that cattle producers have, particularly cow-calf operators and so forth, is they see these exceptionally high retail prices, don't feel like they're getting their fair share, so to speak, of that retail value. You all have a business model that does that. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I think that's a good subject, and as commercial cattlemen, I think we've got to also realize that the margins aren't always that big. We know that, but in this past few years and trends, the commercial cattlemen are wanting to know, how do I get a little bit more of that? And I really see more cooperatives, more beef alliances coming together, and we got to realize there's power in numbers. So the Hart brand model of having the DNA verified Akaushi cattle that come into our program, the producer is getting more margin off of those calves for changing what he does. So we see our beef customer wanting more of it, and so by being able to kind of share into some of that growth, they're able to increase their bottom line for kind of being involved in a group.
You mentioned customers, and you have lots of interaction with direct customers. I'm curious, how are the customer needs and preferences and attitudes towards beef production changing how you market your beef?
So I think when you look at marketing, right, which is a big thing when it comes into a branded program and our whole industry as a whole, we think that we want to show them more of what we do. We need to be proud of what we're doing, and I've seen that also in other animal proteins like dairy and chicken, where they're showing more in their national media. They're bringing the end user into their farm. And we do that very physical, is we bring truckloads and busloads of people from Austin, San Antonio, in food and beverage departments and distributors and restaurants that we're using, and we bring them to the ranch. We'll have a picnic out there, we'll have them on a hayride, and we want to get all those questions for them because we're very proud of how we raise our cattle. And I think most of the cattlemen in the United States do a very good job. Our practices, I think, are very good. We're the biggest beef country in the world, and we need to be proud of that. So I think we need to do a better job in showing them exactly what we do and why, and I think they're going to be more comfortable with what they're buying.
I agree, and speaking of being proud of what you do, if I'm not mistaken, you are all one of the top 25 seed stock producers in the United States now. Tell me how you've achieved that and what that means for cow-calf producers.
Yeah, Kevin, that's something that our whole cattle team takes a lot of pride in, is being in the top 25 in NCBA, and I believe in the top 50 or 45 in Beef Magazine's top seed stock producers. So what that means is we sell a lot of bulls and a lot of cows, and one of the reasons that it brings us, I guess, a lot of pride is now we've done that for many years. So that's showing that it's not just a marketing, it's not just a story, but this is something that works for producers all over the world and all over the country, is using these Akaushi genetics in whichever way profits them best. So if they're feeding them out to very high levels of prime, or they're selling them back into our Hart brand beef buyback program for a premium, or they might be selling locally in their own specialty feeding system. Where I'm going with that is they really have seen their bottom line increase because of the Akaushi genetics, and they've tested the bulls and semen in their environment, and it's worked for them. So that's something that me and you talked last time. We realize we give a premium, but you can't take a step back in terms of gain, efficiencies, fertility, feet and legs. All of those have to be just as good, if not better. So that premium is a real net profit over what they're selling their cattle for now.
There's no doubt about it. There's never been more of a demand for high quality beef like you all are known for producing. And if you want to learn more about the Akaushi breed or Hart brand beef itself, you can visit heartbrandbeef.com.
Cattle producers are always looking for new tools that can increase their cow herd's genetic power, and Transova Genetics can help them do exactly that. With us from Transova Genetics is Carrie Crow, and let's talk about your Gen Plus embryos and how that can really truly help them.
Sure, thank you, Russell. Well, Gen Plus is a product that we created in a company we call Progenis, and they're primarily F1 embryos of two pure breeds that we've selected specifically the maternal traits that are going to make excellent replacement females in the commercial sector.
Talk a little bit more about why cattle producers should give this type of genetic tool selection a try, especially when selecting and trying to grow those great replacement females.
Well, as everybody knows in the commercial industry, F1s and heterosis are sometimes hard to capture, but those cows make extremely incredible maternal units in terms of creating a cow herd that can make lots of production out there in the cow herd. So what we've got is we've hand-selected some genetics that are extremely profitable and efficient on both sides of the equation. We've made some Brahman Hereford crosses that make excellent females for the South, and also some Angus Hereford crosses as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that F1 embryo program, because you and I were talking before we started this interview. Pounds still equal dollars in the beef cattle business, and this is the type of program that can exactly do that, hopefully increase that profitability for the producer's bottom line.
For sure, yeah. So, it's always been a bit of a trick to maintain a commercial F1 cow herd, and we know that heterosis can increase that growth and performance. So we've had to select bulls, or at least some people have selected bulls that are kind of the combo bull. They've had to have some terminal traits and some maternal traits, and maybe they haven't been able to create the very best females because they've had this balancing act of balancing the terminal traits with the maternal traits.
So why should cattle producers give an embryo program like yours a try, maybe versus the traditional way? Walk us through that.
So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge if you're trying to raise your own F1 replacements, because you have to have two purebred herds, and you've got to maintain those two pure herds. So with an F1 embryo, that trouble goes away. You've got a heifer sexed embryo. You can have any kind of female out in the herd and put those embryos in, and you get F1 females on the ground. If you want to maintain an F1 cow herd, the simplest way to do it is to put F1 embryos back in that F1 cow. And we've never been able to do that to create true F1s from true F1. So it's exciting to us.
Well, it makes sense to me. I mean, how are cattle producers reacting to this exciting technology that's available to them?
So it's been really well received, and just getting the message out to them is really the key. Down in the South, we've sold lots of Brahman Herefords because those females are extremely valuable. They can average $2,000 for commercial heifers at a year of age. And so most of the folks at this point have purchased embryos to make heifers to sell. But I think the real true value is when you're making replacements to keep in the herd.
Well, indeed, it's some very exciting news for cattle producers near and far. If you have any further questions or just want more information about what Transova has to offer and how it can help increase your ranch's bottom line, visit them online at transova.com.
Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we've got a look at some livestock handling equipment and watering products that could be a valuable addition to your farm or ranch. That story when we come back.
If you need a stock trailer built to stand strong in tough country, you need a Big Ben trailer. Designed and used by a family that runs cattle themselves.
I think one of the things that makes Big Ben different is that I don't know of any other trailer manufacturer that actually ranches for a living, and we get firsthand use. We get to know what works and what doesn't work, and if we find something that makes our life easier, we'll do it and design it into our trailer.
Big Ben trailers are packed with features. Well-designed latches, movable gates, LED lights, and an 1.5-inch gap around the edges for easy cleanup. Year after year, they keep building Big Ben trailers better.
Without a doubt, they're 10 times better than they were 25 years ago. Lots of options and features and user-friendly options that we have now that they didn't have back in the day.
Ranch tough at a fair price. Find out more at BigBenTrailers.com.
When the field is your office, you never get tired of going to work. Cut, rake, bale, repeat. New Holland offers the power and versatility to get through the day. From small squares to large squares and everything in between, New Holland has you covered. Visit your local dealer today to find out more. New Holland.
Having the right livestock handling equipment can reduce stress on both the livestock and the people. And I'm here with a gentleman who has invested his life in developing and engineering incredible livestock handling equipment, John Malhagen. John, tell us a little bit about the silencer chute that you've become so famous for.
Well, basically the silencer name came from the fact that what we did is we put oil-based polyethylenes to keep a lot of the rattle and the chatter out of these machines, and that's what people were asking for. And then what came along from that was the way we actually hold their head, and how now we're able to move their head from right to left. And so we've gotten so much more control than that we had even when we began with silencer, that these are some of the products that have came with more time and from our customers telling us the needs that they have.
And it's so critically important as we talk about beef quality assurance, making sure we're getting those vaccines and medicines exactly in the right space, and making certain that we are being kind to the animals as we do it. And this chute allows you to do that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Just the fact that it's quiet, and we use a lot of rubber in places. It's a very soft machine to work around for the animal, but also very good for the operators. You'll notice there's a lot of features here that just are really soft and very low impact for the animal and for the operators.
Well, let's talk about low impact for the operators, and I noticed your turret gate back here. One of the things that I always worry about working with cattle is getting people hurt with big metal heavy gates and cattle, and so incredible invention you made here with the turret gate. Tell us about it.
Well, the turret gate came about just for exactly what you said. We were trying to come up with an idea on one of the worst things that can happen to you is when a gate comes back and hits people. Yep. And that is probably that's worse than getting run over. I mean, the gate is one of the biggest problems we have. With turret gate, we now have a remote powered control right here, and what this is doing for us, we're able to move these cattle from anywhere within 100 feet of this powered gate, of the turret gate. The other thing that turret gate does, it actually shuttles through, so we never have to push this gate back into oncoming cattle.
Yeah. Which is super, super handy, and therefore cattle can be there and you can pull it back and sweep right back around, can't you?
And that's correct. So when you're able to do that, you're able to compress cattle into a smaller area, which takes less people, and it's a lot safer to operate.
What happens if those cattle back up on this gate? I mean, are we screwing up something internally when these cattle back up and hit that gate?
Absolutely not. This hydraulic system was specially developed to make sure that the cattle, if they hit this gate is going to move back, and so we're not going to injure the animal yet tear up this equipment. So they're very durable machines. We've had them out for 17 years, and they've just been extremely durable.
Let's talk about your alley system. I noticed a couple of things. Number one, how you've designed some of this rubber strapping to allow the cattle to see out, but still keep you out of the way of the eyesight of the cattle. Talk to us about the logic behind that.
Well, if you look at this angular pieces of these rubber that we've got here, cattle have their eyes are of course on the sides of their head here, and so for them to get a real clear vision, if we had cut these flat right here, they could still actually see out and maybe really get an idea of what's going on. With doing this, only one eye can't really focus on this, and so this kind of breaks up their vision. That's why you see these cut on an angle. Then as we go on down this alley, as you were speaking, you'll notice that we put our blinders on the side, what we call louvers, like we put on our silencer. And we've learned just trying to get cattle into our alleys, we have so much better flow if these cattle can see out just a little bit, but yet we're able to hide in behind that louver and not create any extra pressure on these cattle to pass by us.
And one thing I noticed is your no-backs. Tell us about that. This looks a little new to me, John.
Yeah. Yes, this is a very new product for us right here. This is a hydraulic forward assist tool. Okay. And what that does, and so many times we get an old cow or something, they don't want to go, and we've got to go back there and twist that tail, and I just don't like to do that. And this tool right here really helps us out, pushing that animal in, and then when we pull it back, it actually is on a sleeve that lets this thing slide up and out of the way and over their back. So we don't have to worry about bringing this thing back into oncoming cattle.
And in addition to, of course, the alley system, the chute, you've got a sorting system that folks can look at as well. I just want to compliment you for the great work that you've taken some cowboy logic and incredible engineering to create pieces of machinery that are helpful to protect both people and the livestock we're working. And if you want more information about Molle Manufacturing, you can take a look online at mollymfg.com.
Well, for 100 years now, Richie Industries has been serving livestock producers with their watering needs. And with us from Richie Industries is Rob Amundsen. And let's talk about your 100th anniversary, because that in itself, Rob, is quite a milestone.
You bet it is. Yeah, we're pretty proud of the achievement to handle 100 years.
Let's talk about what has happened over 100 years at Richie Industries, because like anything else in agriculture, you guys have embraced new technology and you continue to offer more and more products to U.S. livestock producers.
Yeah, in 1921, as far back as we can trace it, 1921, Thomas Richie started the business back in Oskaloosa, Iowa, 1921. We could tie it back to the first water valve patent that he had produced back in 21. And then in 1941, it moved to Conrad, Iowa, where it is today. So we've been in the same location for 80 years.
Talk about some of the product features, and you really do have something for just about every type of livestock producer out there.
We do. We produce over 45 different styles and types of waterers. So if you've got an animal that needs water, we probably got a solution for you.
Rob, what makes Richie Industries and your livestock waterers so popular with producers?
The longevity of the product, the way it lasts, the valve, the system in it is top-notch valve system. Flows a lot of water. Just the product itself is the longevity. We have a 10-year warranty, so our product lasts a long time out in the field.
We've talked about your 100th anniversary here in 2021 and how we've gotten to 2021 since 1921. Let's talk about the future. I mean, where do you envision Richie Industries heading in the next 100 years, let's say?
Sure, in the next 100 years, our plan is to expand the business. We don't quite cover all of the U.S. yet, but we're looking at doing that, and then we're going global. We already have 20 distributors globally, but we're looking to grow that business even farther.
Hey, my last question for you is, one thing that you have to be awful proud of, in addition to your great product and the features and just their longevity, is the fact that Richie Industries and your products are 100% American made.
They are 100% American made, made right in the middle of the state of Iowa in Conrad, Iowa. We source all of our components locally, try to get everything locally, everything in the U.S., so you can be assured that our product is American made.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you joining us and giving us a little update on what's going on at Richie Industries and, of course, all their products. Been serving America's livestock producers now since 1921. Congratulations to Richie Industries on their 100th anniversary here in 2021. For more information, you can visit them online at richiefont.com.
After the break, we've got to look at more products and technologies that can make life easier on your farm or ranch. We'll be right back.
Getting to run a family farm is a dream come true. When you can grow good grass, there's opportunity to grow plenty of weeds. We want to use the tools that will help us do a better job. I would like the legacy to be that we took really good care of the land, and we truly did it as a passion, and we did our very best for the right reasons.
From the very beginning, Richie has been dedicated to one thing: helping people deliver fresh, constant water to their animals. Today's Richie waterers rely on a valve design that remains much the same as it was in 1921. It's a simple idea: do it right, and the rest will take care of itself. We never set out to create a company that would be around for 100 years. We just wanted to create something great.
For commercial cow-calf producers, crossbreeding with Gelbvieh and Balancer is the smart, reliable, and profitable choice. Gelbvieh and Balancer females offer maternal superiority through increased fertility, greater longevity, and more pounds of calf weaned per cow exposed. In the feed yard, Balancer cattle deliver increased performance, improved feed efficiency, and excellent carcass merit. Balancer adds the pounds, make the grade, and deliver the value. Gelbvieh and Balancer, the smart, reliable, and profitable choice. Find out more at the website gelbvieh.org.
Regardless of how good a manager you are, Everyone has to deal with sick cattle from time to time, and sometimes you can't get them contained to give them the treatment they need. Well, we've got a solution for that. I'm here with a gentleman right now to talk to us more about remote delivery systems, Josh Newton with NewDart. Josh, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us today.
Pleasure to be here, thank you.
Well, first of all, give us just a little history of the company NewDart to begin with.
Sure. Yeah, NewDart was founded in 1967 in a small town called Barbers, Pennsylvania. And we have a rich history of developing innovative and really novel solutions to animal industry problems, whether that be in the livestock industry or in wildlife.
That's interesting. And remote delivery systems, a term that some people may not be familiar with. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So RDS, or Remote Delivery Systems, is just a name for the overall general business that we have. And it's the concept that you can deliver variety of products at distance, whether animals are in pasture, in zoonotic settings, in wildlife settings, and be able to care for these animals in a safe and effective manner.
So maybe overview quickly some of the products that you have at NewDart.
Sure. So there's really two primary categories. So we have our projectors, which are the commonly referred to as dart guns, and then we have our RDDs, or remote delivery devices, and those are the darts themselves. Pairing those two together really empowers veterinarians, producers, cattle raisers, wildlife folks to be able to handle their animals safely and effectively at distance.
And they come in different sizes, or tell me a little more about that.
Sure, we have a variety of size ranges to accommodate all different weights of animals, so from half cc volumes all the way up to 10 cc volume.
How would you say your technology differs from other technology in terms of delivering the right medicine to the right animals at the right time?
Sure. There's two primary features that I really think are worth mentioning. One is on the projector side. All of our projectors have a variable power control setting, and what that allows us to do is adjust the velocity of the projectile to that animal so we can really tailor a specific shot for that specific animal. On the RDD side, we were the first company to ever introduce slow inject technology. So we've reduced the rate of that injection, so there's less trauma to the animal at that injection site.
And that is encouraging to know. I'm not very familiar with your technology myself, but if those folks are sitting at home and are wanting to learn more, how do we learn more about the correct utilization of this technology?
Sure, great question, appreciate that. I think the most important thing that we really promote is the education of how to use our products. We encourage a VCPR, or a vet client-patient relationship, and we've also created first of its kind programs for education tailored to the bovine industry and also the cervid industry. We're really proud of that. You can find us at newdart.com.
Fantastic, Josh. Thanks for your time. And again, for more information, go to newdart.com.
Well, for cattle producers, proper nutrition is absolutely critical to their cattle herd's health and ultimately overall productivity. And for over 125 years, Purina has been helping cattle producers do exactly that. With us is Brady Klatt with their Beef Technical Solutions. And Brady, thank you for being with us here on Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Let's talk about Purina Plus.
Well, Purina Plus is an exciting program that we just recently launched here. It's a program that features our line of starter feeds, so AccuRation Starter Complete, Precon Complete, and then our Stress Care line of supplements. And those products really build the foundation of the program and do a great job of amplifying the vaccines and deworming protocols that we have from there, really building a flexible program that can fit any operation.
So tell us why you think there's going to be an increase in demand for these Purina Plus calves.
Well, when we put the program together, we really looked at things that add value to the program. So, for instance, as we're looking at those requirements, cattle need to be on feed for 45 plus days. They need to get 2 rounds of modified live vaccines. Then they accompany that with a robust deworming protocol, as well as some other vaccination programs. So really, it's a matter of making sure that we pair that research-proven nutrition with management strategies that have shown to increase the value and demand of those cattle.
If you would, maybe describe why Purina Plus is a little bit different than some of those other value-added type programs out there for cattle producers?
In general, Purina Plus is different because it sets those requirements for nutrition, and again, it's that research-proven nutrition that is shown to get calves to the bunk right away and go ahead and make sure that they're getting the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and then protein and energy as well that they need to make sure that those vaccines and dewormers can work during that stressful weaning time.
You know, talk about who's all involved with the Purina Plus program.
When we started with the program, we went ahead and reached out to Elanco, Merck, Zoetis, Boehringer Ingelheim, all those folks, as well as Zinpro, who puts our performance minerals in those products, and they've all been an instrumental part of that launch of the program. However, the most important folks are probably our local dealers. Those guys are out talking with their sale barns and setting the stage and making the connections for producers, so they're going to be an integral part of the program's success moving forward.
Well, and ultimately, I mean, the goal is to put more money in the producer's pocket. What has the feedback been like so far? Because we know the cattle market here of late has had its fair share of ups and downs, and producers are looking for programs just like this.
The feedback so far has been great. I think it's a matter that a lot of folks see as a good deal. They definitely like the idea of us stepping into this space, and they're excited to be working with us on the program, both from the producer as well as some of those pharmaceutical companies and these sale barns as we started to have these conversations. So we're very excited to be in this space and happy to be bringing it as an opportunity for our producers.
And we're thankful that you took a little bit of time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Cattlemen and Cattlemen, Brady.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Now, for cattle producers wanting to learn more about Purina's Purina Plus, you can visit them online at purinamills.com/Purina Plus.
Data drives decisions in today's cattle business. And today we're featuring a company that makes data collection and data management their business, the Data Mars Livestock folks. And with me now is Mr. Cliff Cobb. Mr. Cobb, tell us just a little bit about Data Mars Livestock and some of the products you all offer.
Well, Data Mars, the company, has been in identification products for a very long time. Started out in textile identification, and of course what everybody in this venue knows us for is livestock identification. The two biggest brands that Data Mars have are, of course, the Z-Tag brand, as well as the Temple Tag brand in the feedlot products. Now, recently, about 36 months ago, Data Mars acquired TrueTest, and TrueTest was into single animal electronic scales, the biggest name in single animal electronic scales, as well as electric fencing and water tanks. So with the merger of those two companies, you know, you've got a great identification system along with the scales and the data collection. So we really have a very complete system for managing your livestock, both data collection and animal management, as far as the weight management and the water management and the fencing to manage forage.
Interesting. Now, if somebody wants to either improve their current data collection and management capabilities, or maybe they haven't even begun taking individual animal weights, tell us about some of the products that they might want to consider.
Okay, we're standing in a good place to talk about that. And there's so many ways to start, and as you know, Kevin, there's so much emphasis on it. Single animal identification and management that it's really a good time to talk about it. So if you wanted to start off with something basic, this S3 unit up here is our most basic system. It will catch you just a weight on the animal, and you can record that manually and take it back and use it at your office. But it also coincides with an app, and that app, you can send it to the app, and then from the app you can send it to your PC or anywhere you'd like to send it. So that's your most basic system. Past that, over here we have a couple of other units. The 7i, which
this is the one that I have, and that's a great unit.
It's a great unit. So with this one, you bring into it EDI. So you get your animal weight plus the ability to record EDI at the same time. So that's a step up from here. And then over here, the last unit, this is the XR5000. It is almost like a ruggedized laptop that you could attach to the side of your chute. So this one will record up to 1 million head of livestock. You can record up to 100 different data fields. So you think about it, if you want to record the cow that's in there, you can also record her calves, the last few calves. So that cow comes into the chute, and you look at that cow and you see the last 3 calves and their weaning weight on the screen at the same time. Yeah. If that cow's doing a great job, we're going to continue her on. But if we look and see, hey, that cow is aging and her weaning weights are going down, that may be the perfect time to kind of sort her out into the sort pen to be marketed. But you do that in combination with the stick readers, so that when that animal comes in, you scan that animal's ear tag, and all of her data comes up on the screen of this scale. So you'll have everything that you need to know about that animal right there in front of you so that you can make management decisions. If you're doing a medication regime, that will also be recorded, so you'll know what that cow's had, when she's had it, keep up with withdrawals. I mean, the options are endless. You can do as little or as much as you want to do.
So before you get away, I do want to ask you about some of the electric fencing you mentioned. I know we did some beardless barley this spring to try to manage through the drought and did some intensive grazing of that. Tell us about some of your solutions relative to electric fencing.
Well, with electric fencing, we have two brands. We have the Patriot, which is more of a value brand, and then probably for this crowd, you're looking at the Speed Right brand, which is for what we say is the full-time producer trying to make a living out there. You want a unit with more features, and we have every gadget and widget ever known to man as far as electric fence. You can use this for so many things. I mean, if you're, in Texas where I've come from, the wild hog problem is a terrible thing, and it destroys thousands of acres every year. So it can be used for exclusion of those type of pests, but also for inclusion. Keeping your cattle in, electric fence more than anything is a mental barrier. And as anybody that has come into contact with electric fence, it is truly a mental barrier. But we have a lot of people using it to stretch forage. Maybe you're doing some intensive grazing in your part of the country where you get plenty of rainfall. You're doing that to try to stretch that forage and try to get more out of it. Or maybe you're cutting some crop areas off and trying to graze those for a while and get something out of those, or whether it's wheat pasture or whatever. But electric fencing just offers so many ways to manage your forage.
From information management to data collection and data management, Datamars has you covered. And if you want more information, go to livestock.datamars.com.
Up next, it's time for a visit with our good friend Baxter Black. We'll be back right after this.
We know you're up before the dawn because the cattle rise before the sun. And you spend long hours in the saddle because the herd isn't always over the next rise. And you care for the land because you know it takes care of your family. And we know you do great work. And it's time to tell that story to the marketplace. IMI Global is here to help you do just that.
Did you know that Prefert makes over 1,000 different farm, ranch, and rodeo items? And now, thanks to Prefert Direct, it's easier than ever before to get access to every item Prefert makes delivered direct to your local dealer. For more information about Prefert Direct, visit us at prefert.com. Prefert, America's #1 name in farm, ranch, and rodeo.
He was a Utah cowboy, and he wore a good felt hat that was pulled down level to his ears till the tops of them were flat. The weathered lines upon his face showed he had a checkered past. I reached to shake his proffered hand, but both his wrists were in a cast. Carpal tunnel? I asked deadpan, but he never broke a grin. Rodeo? He quietly said. Broncs or bulls? I asked again. No, team roping was his answer. I responded, quite a wreck. Well, the healer saw it better. Then he winced and stretched his neck. And then began his tragic tale. I was on my trader horse who hadn't bucked for near 2 weeks and was steady on the course. You know how you've always thought if you're dallied up and tight, your horse can't buck while dragging all that weight? Well, partner, that ain't right. My healer's horse came off the ground when my pony broke in too. The second jump, we cleared the fence, but I held my dallies true. The third time, like a slingshot, put the poor old steer in orbit. And I'm thinking, if I make this ride, I might get a good score, but he fired me from the saddle with such force, he came unshod. And bucked so hard up to the sky, so high that I saw God. Brigham Young was there beside him, according to this spiel. Respectfully, I waited for the wisdom he'd reveal, some divine sent revelation of man's purpose here on earth, or a glimpse of cowboy heaven, or what angels' cows are worth? Did he give you any inkling of your future dirt to dirt? Yes, he did, the cowboy whispered. He said, son, this is going to hurt. This is Baxter Black from out there.
This beef quality assurance tip is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
Hi, Jolie Fitzsimons here to talk to you today about the Beef Quality Assurance Program and our online BQA modules. The BQA program is an important part of the beef industry. It helps to build consumer confidence and ensures that we're taking care of our animals the right way. The online modules are a great way for producers to stay up to date on their knowledge and certifications. We have 3 courses: Cow-Calf, Stock Your Backgrounder, and Feed Yard. All 3 of these courses are also available in Spanish. They're free online and take about 2 to 3 hours to complete. If you don't have that time, the great thing about the modules is that you can come back to them later as it saves your progress. Our states also host in-person trainings. You can find more about these in-person trainings and our online modules at bqa.org.
The Beef Quality Assurance Program is funded by the Beef Checkoff.
When it comes to protecting cattle health, there's only one name you need to know: Bovolus. All 27 of Merck Animal Health's high-quality cattle vaccines are now unified under the Bovolus name. They're the same vaccines you've always relied on, only with updated names and packaging, so it's easy to select the right vaccine at the right time. No matter the need, you can trust there's a solution in the innovative, cattle-friendly, proven Bovolus vaccine portfolio. See the new look of protection at choosebovolus.com.
There's a number of booths at the NCBA trade show that focus on improving the health and productivity of cattle, and I'm at one of them now. Here we are with Multimin USA, and with me now is Lawrence Havenga. He's the CEO of Multimin. Lawrence, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us on the show.
Kevin, thank you very much for having us. Really enjoy it.
You know, I've seen you most every year at the trade show, but it looks like you have a little different look and feel to your booth this year. Tell us a little bit what drives that different look and feel.
Thank you very much. I think, if I go back to in the history of Multimin, most cattlemen are really familiar with the reproductive benefits that Multimin offer. And I think, what we're trying to do here is to show them that we've completed our data package. We've really focused the last 5 to 7 years on really researching the health benefits of this product really carefully, really well. And I think what we're trying to do here is to show them just in a different visual appeal, the health data is now available, and it really comes on top of the reproductive benefits that the product offers.
Well, so let's talk about the health data for just a minute. What are some of the health benefits of using Multimin?
I think one of the key things we've focused on was really looking at how Multimin can impact vaccination in cattle. We use a lot of vaccines. There's been really good advancements in vaccine technology. We moved from modified live to killed. Now we have intranasal vaccines. We even have some vaccines that work, I'm going to call them independent of the actual target animal. If we look at the scour vaccines, we give it to the cow or the heifer. She needs to produce colostrum, which impacts the calf. So we actually vaccinate a different animal. And we felt that we really wanted to get a handle on what Multimin can offer if we employ it at the same time as those different vaccines.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I have used Multimin on my heifers, and so I want to ask you again about some of the reproductive benefits that you're seeing with Multimin.
Perfect. Well, on the reproductive side, we really focus both the male and female animals. So when we look at the bull, we really try and drive sperm quality and quantity. And then on the female side, we really want to help that animal bridge that gap between calving and breeding. If we could do something that's really fast and that can really impact there, what we really end up with is we end up with a little bit of a benefit on preg rate. But I think a lot of money comes from really bunching up that calving pattern and having a nice uniform calf crop come early in the calving season.
Now, you mentioned early in our interview that you've invested a lot in research the last several years. Tell us more about the research that backs up this product.
So the research that we do, we like to do it independently with land-grant universities. So we make funding available to those universities, but we love to have them do the research independently. So they go, they do it, and then we allow them to publish that stuff. So Multimin today, we're really proud to have a company that's, less than 20 years old, but we got 37 peer-reviewed published papers on this product. And I think, we find out a lot of stuff from the universities that we don't anticipate to learn. I'm just going to give you kind of 3 examples of what was found in our health research program. If we look at what this product offers when employed with a vaccine, we get in the individual animal that just providing the nutrients that animal needs at time of vaccination, we really aggressively drive in that individual animal the response to that vaccine. So we get them to respond a little quicker to the vaccine, and the measurable antibodies and those things are significantly higher. Secondly, we don't vaccinate individual animals, we vaccinate groups or population groups, and we see significantly more of that population actually respond to the vaccine if we put Multimin with the vaccine. And then finally, I think that really appeals to the cattlemen is when they do get challenged with whether it's BVD or IBR, the pathogens that we vaccinate against, they don't get as sick and they perform better.
One thing that we've learned in the COVID pandemic is the best thing we can do is turbocharge our immune system and our immune response, and it sounds like that's exactly what you're trying to do with cattle.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
And for more information on Multimin and their portfolio of products, visit multiminusa.com.
This was a look at just a handful of the great companies that you can find at the annual NCBA trade show. There's hundreds more that exhibit each year with products and services aimed at helping beef producers be more profitable. It's not too early to start making plans to attend next year's trade show. The Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show is headed to Houston, Texas, February 1st through the 3rd. You can find out more details on the beef industry's premier event at the website convention.ncba.org. That wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending some of your time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.